Hi, this is Anna London with Cyvergence, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about the Crowdstrike incident, right? The compatibility issues between Crowdstrike updates and a Microsoft Windows patch led to significant disruptions. And this incident serves as a pertinent example of why organizations should consider diversifying their vendor dependencies and implementing robust testing and risk management protocols. So we're going to discuss a detailed breakdown, of these points. The first one is risks of single vendor dependency. It's a single point of failure, right? Depending solely on one vendor for critical services or products can create a single point of failure. If the vendor experiences issues, be it technical, financial, or legal, it can have a direct adverse impact on the organization's operations. Let's talk about vendor lock-in, right? Because over-reliance on a single vendor, like Crowdstrike, for instance, can lead to vendor lock-in, where switching costs, both financial and operational, are prohibitively high, and this can limit an organization's flexibility and bargaining power. Let's talk about limited innovation, because dependency on a single vendor might limit exposure to diverse, innovative solutions offered by competitors, which might be more suited to evolving business needs. Okay, and then let's talk about the importance of quality assurance testing, compatibility testing, right? This is testing 101, folks. I mean, honestly, before rolling out updates, especially those that integrate deeply with other software, like operating systems, and in this case, it was Windows, it is crucial for vendors like Crowdstrike to conduct thorough compatibility tests to ensure that new updates work seamlessly with existing systems before they push the update out to their customers. Okay, let's talk about preventative measures. Rigorous testing helps in identifying potential issues before they impact customers, reducing the risk of widespread system failures or security vulnerabilities. Now let's talk about the need for supply chain risk assessments, right? Identifying weak links. Regular risk assessments can help in identifying and mitigating risks posed by third-party vendors like Crowdstrike as part of the organization's supply chain. Okay, let's talk about scenario planning, because these assessments should include scenario planning for various types of disruptions, understanding the potential impact of each, and preparing response strategies. And let's talk about continuous monitoring, because keeping track of the changing risk profile of vendors and their products is crucial. This includes monitoring for new vulnerabilities, updates, and changes in the vendor's business environment. Okay, and then of course, let's talk about business continuity and contingency measures, preparedness. Organizations should have robust continuity plans that include strategies for maintaining essential functions in case of vendor failure. And this might involve having backups, secondary systems, or alternative vendors ready to step in. Let's talk about testing and updates. Regularly testing these plans to ensure they are effective and updating them based on new risks and business changes is critical. Communication plans in case of a failure, having clear communication strategies with stakeholders, employees, customers, suppliers, is essential to manage the situation effectively. Okay, and the fifth and final, right, is collaboration between vendors and customers, joint testing, and feedback loops. Let's talk about both. For joint testing, for critical integrations, both vendors and customers should consider joint testing sessions to understand the real-world implications of any updates or changes. And then feedback loops, right? Establishing a feedback loop with vendors can help in communicating issues faced by customers, which can be crucial for the vendor to improve their solutions. So in conclusion, the incident with Crowdstrike and Microsoft underscores the necessity for a multifaceted approach in vendor management, quality assurance, risk assessments, and continuity planning. By diversifying vendor relationships, rigorously testing updates, if I can spit it out, assessing supply chain risks, and preparing for contingencies, organizations can better safeguard themselves against potential disruptions and vulnerabilities. It's a multi-layered approach. The Secret Service follows the money, right? For us in cybersecurity, information security, we follow the data, processed, stored, transmitted. And so you need to look at all your dependencies, both digitally, logically, physically, right? Take in consideration any potential risk, that your company, that may be impacted, right? By either your company providing it to as a service provider to other companies and vice versa, right? This could have been prevented, honestly. This is just even with the SolarWinds, right? So SolarWinds, vulnerability, right, affected 255 government and commercial agencies. And you'd figure that the vendor community would learn from it, right? So that one, they should have tested it as well, because they, being SolarWinds, the vendor, because they would have found that through appropriate, SAST testing, for instance, they would have, in quality assurance testing of the software before it was pushed out into production to their 255 government and commercial customers, they would have found the malicious code. Okay, they could have then fixed it, blocked it, cleaned it, right? And then the customers wouldn't have been impacted, right? But do we learn from those mistakes? Obviously not. So with that said, it's also as much on the businesses, okay, to have, to conduct the security, the supply chain risk management on their environments. And there's no cookie cutter solution. So definitely, I implore you all actually to, work hybrid with internal teams, right? And then of course an external third party that can come in, all right, and help you evaluate the risk. Okay, it's incredibly important, folks, right? Because anything can happen. And sometimes if you just have your internal teams do it, they sometimes can't see the forest through the trees because they're deep involved. It's like, writing, let's just say, a 6-page, article on something, okay? And if I write it and then I look at it again and again and again and again, even using Grammarly, whatever, right? I'm thinking everything's good to go. And then, of course, I push it out. And then there may be vulnerabilities, e.g., like misspellings, grammar errors, etc., right? Because it does require, when you look at it over and over and over again, it's always best to have a peer review and or a third party come in and help to, work with your team in a hybrid manner to conduct a thorough supply chain risk management assessment in support of your business continuity, okay, and contingency measures to avoid disruptions like this in the future. Because this could have been prevented, honestly, with the right planning, okay, is what I'm going to say. This is Cyvergence .ai. Now, we also do supply chain risk management assessments, okay? Go to our website, C as in Charlie, Y, V as in Victor, E as in Echo, R as in Romeo, G as in Golf, A as in Alpha, N as in Nancy, C as in Charlie, E as in Echo.ai. So with that said, this is Anna London with Cyvergence signing out.